Dr. Broders is a fine doctor. Who cared, Senator? I don't care what y'all say about him now. I was honored to serve under that man. Are we just gonna let him choke to death?
Well, what do you suggest, nurse? We've tried digitalis, we've tried mercurial diuretics. Maybe I should just cut him open and drain him. I'm sorry. I don't mean to take it out. It was a farming accident, wasn't it?
Yeah. He was plowing the mule. Got away from him, kicked him. Crushed his chest. His heart just won't work. Is that fluid on the pericardium?
I'll have to notify his parents. What made you think, boy, that you were old enough to handle a mule?
His bedclothes are wet. I'm gonna get dry ones.
No. No, wait a minute. Get away from him.
What?
Nurse, I want you to get me a syringe with a large bore needle. Now! What did I say? Cut him open and drain him? Maybe I knew what I was talking about. No, I'm not gonna hurt you, son. I just want to take a look at your chest. That's all. I just want to take a look. And you take Nurse Ever's hand.
There it is.
And you squeeze it tight.
You can't hurt me.
You don't get much of a chance to hold on to a pretty lady's hand like that, now do you? I'm not gonna hurt you, son. Am I, nurse?
No, doctor.
Uh-huh.
That's it. That's it. You gotta
Don't
trust
get
the
jabs,
doctor.
boy.
You trust him and you'll be up and around in no time. That's true. I don't want you with that mule no more. What's that mule's name? Hang on. What's his name? They came in with me. And so did the other ones I talked to. And the ones they talked to. Did they come? On foot, in the owner's truck. Any way they could, they came in for treatment. Sorely needed treatment.
Good morning.
God, so many. I had no idea.
Welcome to Macon County, Doctor.
Well, we better start another line. There are a lot of men here in need of care.
If I could have all the young men down on this end, please file into this room and form 2 new lines. Thank you. Morning. Morning.
How's that sunny? You still got the fruit?
Oh, that stuff you give me sure did the you did the trick, Miss Evans.
Well, we're gonna get everybody in Macon County. Well, you'll see. Next group. Caleb?
Ma'am? I see you getting even with me for pulling your hair, huh?
Getting off that easy, but give me your finger. It's all right. All right? Hold it up. Hyman?
No, Miss Evans, I don't want to get my blood took. I got a wife. I'm still young and I got obligations.
Obligations?
You know, to my wife. Family obligations. So I just can't have my blood took.
You know Fred Milson down at Alma?
Works in the sawmill.
He got 7 going on 8 children. He been giving his blood for 6 years and his obligations is doing just fine.
Well, I sure hope you're right, Miss Evans, because that...
I would say it if it wasn't so.
Could you step out here for a second?
Okay.
Doctor?
Yes.
Would you excuse me? I'd like to speak with the men.
Sure, right now.
Gentlemen, there seems to be some confusion. Let me explain what we're checking for. There is a germ that infects the genital area, resulting in a temporary and painless but highly contagious penile ulceration. Now, this ulceration will disappear as the disease becomes non-contagious or latent. And this latency can last for up to 30 years until finally the cardiovascular and nervous systems will disintegrate and collapse. Are there any questions?
Doctor, could I just say something?
Sure.
By frolicking too much, or maybe passed on from your mom and your daddy, you might get a really bad sew down below in your private parts. Then through that so a bug can crawl up inside here and go to sleep for 20, 30 years or more. So it's not to hurt nobody but you. But when it wake up, you can't walk, you can't breathe, you can't think. That is bad blood. That's what we're checking to see if y'all got so we can get rid of it. You done. Come on. Willie.
Nurse, could I speak with you for a second?
Yes, doctor?
Thank you. I know I'm a good medical doctor, but I'm not so sure that I'm a good people doctor yet.
Dr. Douglas, you helping people. You're a good people doctor.
So what do you think of Washington?
It's grand.
We have been most impressed with the work you've been doing at Tuskegee, Dr. Boris.
Oh, yes.
Davis, take the doctors back. Good work.
Your syphilis treatment program was a model.
Thank you.
It's a pity the money dried up.
Not a pity. It's a shame.
I'd call it a crime. But we may have a solution. A new study. Which is why we asked you up here. Oh, besides wanting, of course, to meet you in person.
Would you like a cool drink, Dr. Brodus? Had a long trip. Done some soda in the office here.
Sure, thank you.
Are you aware of the Oslo experiment, Dr. Brodus?
Oslo.
No.
The Venereal Disease Clinic in Oslo, Norway, published a very interesting report. Now, they examined several hundred men with syphilis. They came up with fascinating data. For example, how many men died with neurological impairment as compared to cardiovascular? Fascinating. Doctor, please appear.
Thank you.
Here's the report. Take a look at it yourself. There's an English précis in the back.
Coca-Cola, root beer, orange crush, sarsaparilla.
Whatever. I believe, Dr. Brodus, that we have, make them count, an extraordinary opportunity.
They studied only white people. We believe the Negro people deserve the same chance to be studied.
Studied? No, we need money for treatment.
We can get money for this. The federal government will pick up the whole tab. Not, of course, the 1,400 patients that we've already been treating, but we can study 400 men with syphilis, 200 non-contagious as a control group. No more depending on outsiders. Root beer all right?
Fine, thank you.
We need your help. We need Tuskegee. And now, you seem skeptical.
No? Well, maybe a little.
Sam, this is for real. It's important to know whether the Negro reacts to syphilis the same way as the white man.
Well, suppose that race doesn't make the difference and that the Negro reacts the same to syphilis as the white man.
Well, we'll want to know that too, wouldn't we? This is science after all. We want the truth.
Regardless of race, creed, or color.
The stamping out of disease. That's what this office is dedicated to. For all the people, Dr. Brodus. All of them.
And you want to repeat the Norwegian study, except with the Negro male.
That's right. Now, we have additional
But it
data.
says here, Oslo was done between 1891 and 1910. That means there was no treatment then. These men were untreated. They studied untreated men with syphilis.
Yes, that's right.
No treatment?
They have to have penicillin.
I'm afraid we can't allow that.
Why not? How long do these men have to wait around? First in line, that's what you said. That's what you told me. That was the promise. Now there's a drug that can help and...
Penicillin cannot undo the damage that's already been done.
It could keep them from getting worse.
It may also kill them.
Penicillin?
Some chronic syphilitics suffer a fatal allergic reaction to penicillin. It's called the Herxheimer reaction. Now, that's been proven. Washington's doing a study right now to determine the degree of risk.
They're giving it all over the county. Caleb Humphrey's got it. He's fine. He's in the goddamn army. Excuse my language.
Caleb was lucky. Yes, penicillin is very effective in primary and secondary cases, but for those who have entered the tertiary stage, like the men in our study, it cannot cure, and it may also kill. For those men, the study needs to go to the end point.
And we already have 10 years of data.
10 years is not the end point.
What is then?
We have to validate our facts through autopsy, Nurse Evers. That is the end point. That will make it science, not guesswork.
We're gonna wait for them to die?
Science is sometimes a hard task, Master Nurse Evers. You think I like not treating them? No. But we have to finish the study. We have a chance to make history here.
History?
Let me talk to her. Once when I was doing my residency back home, up north, I had to do 2 autopsies at the same time. 2 young men lying next to one another, one white, one colored. And I got the hearts mixed up. I didn't know which, when, and where, and I remember holding on to those hearts for a long time and examining every detail. And then finally I just closed my eyes, put a heart in each body, and then just sew them up. That simple. Forget about making history. Think about making change. Change in the way people think, pushing past the hate, pushing past the idea of difference. We're showing once and for all, through the nobility of scientific proof, that when it comes to disease, ironically, we're all the same.
It was right. It had to be right. Men kept dying, but they would have died anyway, wouldn't they? I prepared a report every spring on the number of them remaining. 412 in 1946, 360 10 years later. And then last year when the papers got a hold to the story, it was 127 left. Of the 412 that we started with, 127 were left. And of Miss Evers' boys, it was just 2. That's Willie and Caleb. I had heard that he got the job up north. He never married. So that brings us to Washington, D.C. I guess none of us ended up where we thought we would.
I simply don't understand, Miss Evers. Much as we may appreciate your personal sacrifice, the fact remains that patients with a potentially fatal disease went untreated when treatment was available.
It was for the greater good.
Who's good, Miss Evers? Who has benefited?
We proved that there's no difference between how blacks and whites respond to syphilis. The benefit of that...
If they were white, Miss Evers, if they were white, would these men have been treated as they were? You should know better than anyone.
Yes, I do, Senator. If they had been white, your public health service would never have agreed to do this study in the first place. They wouldn't have dared. If they had been white, you congressmen wouldn't have voted every year for 40 years. If they had been white, somebody would have said something before now, because everybody knew what was going on. It wasn't no secret. But because they were black, nobody cared. Because they were black, you, the U.S. government, thought that they were expendable. Now you're trying to push the blame off on me and the fine doctors who did the best we could with the choice you gave us to make. Whether to leave those men in neglect or to give him the best care that was within our power to give. Nursing them men was my life, mister.
We're not trying to blame you, Miss Evers. We understand you were acting under orders. Orders from Dr. Brodus and the others.
I went up that hill on my own. I can carry the weight of the burden by myself.
But, Miss Evers, what in the world did you think you were doing?
Honoring my oath as a nurse, Senator. I love those men. They were susceptible to kindness, and I gave them all that I had.